Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here recording episode 172, and today we are going to be talking about how to turn unemployment into fun employment. I would say Jared will definitely be able to help me out with this. Right now I am unemployed, other than my lucrative contract here at the Untranslatable podcast. So we're looking forward to discussing some ways where you can really maximize your time while you're unemployed. Also, how to not worry too much. I'm sure some of you out there like me tend to worry occasionally, and when you're unemployed, it can be a scary time to go through. So we're here to talk about that as well. So, my man with the plan, my partner in crime, my buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Rule number one for enjoying your employment and turning it into a fun employment: have money. Another good way to enjoy your fun employment is to follow the Untranslatable podcast.
Spread a little love.
On Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number one. You can also see us on YouTube. Our quality is slowly getting better and better until Chad inevitably is here, back in Michigan, and we're back in that crisp real 1080p there. Anyway, 1080p, like, people are past that. They're like, oh wow, yeah, I think my my grandma's computer does that. I'm excited for you to come back, Chad. Oh, please, also
Spread a little love.
Пожалуйста.
everything. Spread a little love, please, in Russian. Give us 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Please give us 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Oh, yeah, anyway. I am excited for you to come back, and I always like to think about stuff like this, and I want to ask you, if you could be living your idealist fun employment in the United States, let me preface it with that. What city would you like to be in?
Can my friends and family be in the city too? Because for me, that plays a lot. That plays a big role. If I'm going to be selfish and just think about myself, then
I mean, don't think about yourself. Yes, be selfish, Chad. Think about yourself. But if what you need is your friends and family, that's probably an important thing to factor in. But that's not, people aren't as weirdly obsessed with their friends and family like you seem to be. You're both weirdly obsessed, but not afraid to leave the country for months to potentially years at a time.
That's true. That is kind of a weird dichotomy, isn't it? Maybe that's why I'm so weird and obsessed, is because I've been away from my family for half a year. I bet you that's probably what it is.
That's fair.
But anyways, well, I think there's one place that I've never been before, but I think it would be a great place to spend fun employment would be Nashville, Tennessee. Just because of the music scene there. Yeah. That would be super cool. Or Austin, Texas, for the same reason. Great live music scene, cool restaurants. I've heard the fried chicken in Nashville is fantastic. So
that's all you need, really.
Exactly, music and fried chicken, and I can live a very solid
fried chicken connoisseur. I don't I don't know how we haven't incorporated that segment into our podcast. If there's anything I could consistently rely on you to do, is try new and interesting fried chickens.
That's true. That is true. Ironically, too, the only thing that gave me food poisoning in China was fried chicken, and here I am still wanting to eat fried chicken. So there you go.
Yeah. You're a connoisseur. You understand the risk you take. Anyway, I brought that up because I like to think of cities that I would like to move to. Ideally, if I could, get the job I wanted wherever it was I wanted. Blah 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 blah. One that always comes to mind to me is, obviously New York City, San Francisco, cities like those are cool, but I would never want to live there because those cities are expensive AF. Cities that interest me, or states rather, North Carolina has always interested me. I went there once when I was doing college tours. I thought it was lovely. And I've been to Charlotte. I went there recently after my camping trip that I did out in the...
And you've been to Asheville too, right?
Asheville is another one that I would put on my list. Yeah. I thought Asheville was cool too. And so these are some of the top cities in 2020 that people are moving to. Choosing where to live is one of the most personal, stressful, and meaningful choices you can make. That's why Curbed, this is the website I got this from, cast a wide net to put together our first ever list of where you should live in the U.S. in 2020. We begin the list with the criteria. I feel like you'd like these criteria. I do too. Walkability.
Oh, yep, for sure.
Park access. Diversity. Housing cost. Job opportunities. And more that together add that essential but elusive trait, livability. I think these are things that are important to me. I like walking around a lot. That's why I love Philly. And I thought, as far as big cities went, it was very housing was very affordable, and it was diverse too. Arlington, Virginia, a booming upscale suburb buoyed by the Amazon growth machine. I guess Amazon is headquartered in Arlington. Medium home. But the thing about median rent for a 2-bedroom apartment is $2,100. That's kind of pricey because it's close to DC. Yeah, of course.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
All right, we're going to move on. Not Arlington. I don't really like Arlington either. How about this? Boise, Idaho. Now, I might consider Boise, Idaho, but I wonder what kind of diversity boxes Boise checks. Now, this is my ignorance, too. I don't know anything about it.
Right.
A mountain vista that offers the outdoors and new business opportunities. Median rent for a 2-bedroom apartment, $950.
There we go.
That's very
That's
reasonable.
a little better. That's a little better.
Boasting a beautiful setting nestled in the high desert, bisected by the Boise River and green enough to be called the City of Trees, Idaho's largest city doesn't need anything or anybody to sell itself. The city has gained national renown as a relocation destination in the last decade, most famously for former Californians and a booming economy. Yeah, I've heard of Coeur d'Alene, which is a city in Idaho, which is apparently gorgeous, and it's sort of a hidden gem that a lot of rich people that are sick of the hustle and bustle LA, sneak away to. Boise has blown up between 2013 and 2018. The metropolitan grew 81,000 more than 3 times the national average.
That's a confusing sentence right there.
It is, but so the national average is a national average growth is, say, a certain number, whatever that is. Add 80,000 to that.
Okay.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep.
Median rent for a 2-bedroom apartment is $1,150. It's a little more, but I can handle it. Not to brag. Dallas, Texas. I don't know much about Dallas. I have family there, but I don't go there often because we usually see them in Louisiana. I don't know much about Dallas. I used to go there a lot when I was a kid, but I've heard that it's not really close to anything, I feel like. Denver. Now, Denver's great. I have family there. I go there a lot. Our friend Don lives there. But average rent or median rent for a 2-bedroom is $1,350. It's getting a little pricey.
Still not as bad as Arlington, though.
Yeah, for sure. But I think Denver's cooler, personally. I also like a place I would consider Minneapolis, Minnesota, except it's cold AF.
Yep.
Rent is relatively
Bring your
cheap,
flannels, Jared.
$11.50. Yeah. But I would actually consider Minneapolis if it weren't so freezing. I think that might be a deterrent for me. I'm trying to get away from the cold, I feel like. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. A thing to think about as you are there being fun employed. Are you in now? I see your background there. I thought you were supposed to be in Cuda.
I am in Cuda.
It looks like
Marriott's.
you are?
Marriott's, my dude. Stayed at different Marriotts, so they have similar.
The
curtains.
last episode we recorded, you were in Ubud, right?
Yeah.
Your background looked exactly the same.
Yeah, there's a couch. It's this pretty much the same room layout. Couch and
Okay.
couch and
I totally
curtain,
thought you were in the
color.
same place. It really threw me off. Can you tell me? I know we're gonna do an on the road again, probably about Cuda, but could you tell me just a little bit about how that's been?
It's been great. Got lots of souvenirs. Found you a real loud shirt, so I hope you're ready for that.
Oh yes.
Got a loud shirt. Found you another little surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. But in Cuda, there's this place called Krishna Ole Ole, which is is basically like a warehouse where you can buy cheap souvenirs. So, because I've talked to some Balinese people about where to go, and a lot of them say, well, if you're a good haggler, you can go to the markets. But to me, that's also really time consuming, like trying to haggle for every little thing you get. They said, if you go to this souvenir place, the prices are set, but the prices are pretty good. I can tell you that actually, I'm surprised. I actually bought quite a few of these shirts for friends back in Michigan, just because I feel like it's hard to find these kind of like tropical themed shirts in Michigan for various reasons.
You gotta go to Tommy Bahama, but you have to go to like the rich side of Somerset Mall,
Right.
And then a shirt like that costs like $180, and you're like,
Take a guess.
People
Take a
pay-
guess how much most of these shirts cost me, Jared. These tropical
I
shirts.
guess like $5.
$2.93.
That's a deal right
Yep.
there.
And
I
that
would
was-
load up too if I were you.
Oh yeah, and that was at the souvenir shop. That wasn't at the market. I did go to a market last night because I was trying to find my dad a shirt like this, but my dad. He's a big dude, so it's not as easy to find.
They don't have his size as
right.
readily available.
Right, because in the States he's usually a double X, and here this shirt that I'm wearing right now is an XL. So there's no way a double X would fit him.
Right.
So, but the funny thing was, I went to a night market yesterday. I visited some friends actually outside of Kuta on the other side of the beach part of where I'm staying in Sanur. So I was chilling on the beach yesterday, which was great. I'll send you a couple pictures after we're done recording. But we went to the night market there, and there was some really cool stuff. I found
Wait, why do they call it a night market?
because
It's at night?
It's open at night. Yeah, it's just a market that's
Only
open
at
at
night?
night. Probably not, but it seems like that's when most people go.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And they have
Are
food
there like a
and
lot of
different
drunk
stuff there.
people there or something?
It was only a few tourists, but mostly Balinese people. But that's because there's a
But
big
it's still
food.
pretty chill.
Yeah, super chill, really nice place.
Okay.
Yeah, I found a shirt for my dad, found a gift for my girlfriend as well.
Were you there by yourself?
No, I was with friends. I was there with friends. But
Do you
yeah,
sometimes wish they weren't there?
my friends?
Yeah.
Definitely no.
Okay.
No,
All right, hey, that's
but
fine.
I've been chilling.
That's fine.
I've been chilling by myself quite a bit here too, which I think I think that's an important thing about Funemployment is to have meet your friends, but also do what you want to do. But we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, Kuta's been great. I went to a German beer garden a couple days ago in Kuta. Yesterday? No, 2 days ago maybe. I don't remember. But we ended up meeting the owner of the beer garden, and he studied in Germany. And then we started speaking German with him. The friend that I was with also speaks German. He was a German minor in college. So who would have thought, Jared? This is how language connects. Who would have thought you're chilling in Bali, you go to a beer garden, and you meet the guy, and then we had like a 3-hour conversation with him in German. It was awesome.
About what?
All sorts of stuff, like what he was doing in Germany, what he did.
Did you know
when he
your
came
friend
back.
spoke German?
I did, yeah. Hmm.
Okay, but you guys obviously weren't speaking German.
No, not before. Not before. He said, oh yeah, I was in Germany. I studied in Germany, and then I asked him how's your German. He said good, and then that's when I answered with
Good.
Ausgezeichnet.
Wow, that's confident.
Well, he lived there for
Good.
10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
feel
hey,
like
if you got
live
it,
in a
you
place
got it.
for
There's
10
no reason to
years-
be
that-
bashful
right.
about it.
True. But yeah, so anyways, it was pretty solid. Kuta's it's a cool place, but there's a lot of tourists. It's a little dirty, I'm not going to lie. A lot of drunk Aussies here. But yeah,
Oh, I've heard about them before.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of
Yeah.
British people there too, or just
No.
the Aussies?
Aussies, and I've seen a lot
Oh,
of
it's
Russians.
so close. It's close as Australia's close, I imagine,
Yeah.
relatively speaking.
Exactly. But yeah, we'll get more into that though on the road again, Kuta, Jared. Now I think it's
Sure.
time to.
Yeah,
Spread a little love.
let's do it.
So my shout out today goes out to the people of Ecuador who have organized a llama race known as La Migada that takes place in the one second here. Yanganates National Park in Ecuador, and this La Migada race was a race set up to raise money to help support this national park that is one of the most important wetlands on the planet that covers 850 square miles for our non-imperial people who need their metric measurement. 22,000 square kilometers. So the goal of the race or the event was to raise awareness among indigenous communities about the importance of the national park and taking care of the national park. So I think that's super awesome. Shout out to Ecuador. I always love reading these interesting ways that people raise money. I feel like a llama race is a super cool way to raise money and awareness for something. So I think that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody
make
who
it interesting
participated
for
in the
these
race.
people.
Exactly.
People are
Exactly.
simple. We need bright lights and shiny things in front of our face to get us to spend
Especially
a little
llamas.
money, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, llamas are bright and shiny. Everyone knows that.
Exactly.
Oh, never mind. I just have more questions about Kuda, but let's let's get to what this is all about.
Let's
here.
do it.
The untranslatables, please.
So, Jared, I tried to, I've been a little lazy in the fact, well, maybe not lazy, but I've been trying to keep apropos to my time here in Bali, and I have been giving you Indonesian untranslatables. I figured, you know what? I'm going to do the opposite today. I'm going to think the place that I thought of the opposite of Bali was Iceland. So today I have some Icelandic untranslatables for you. Although I've heard Iceland is a beautiful country, it's definitely not covered with palm trees and Balinese food. So here we go. So my first one for you, Jared, is...
Iceland is not filled with Balinese food.
Well, at least last I checked, but who knows? Maybe there's a big Balinese population there. Anyways, my first one, both of mine today are Icelandic, and the first one is blindur booklaus maður, and that means blind as a bookless man.
Blind as a bookless man. It's just like you can't see anything? Is that...
Nope.
Blind as a bookless man? It's not just as literal as it sounds.
Well,
Is it someone that's like really stupid?
kind of, yes. A lot of this has to do with
Uninformed?
books. Yeah, you're getting warmer.
Someone that doesn't read. Someone that's stupid because they don't read. Someone that's uninformed because they don't read the news.
There we go.
Or-
If you don't read, you are blind to many things. That is right.
Yes.
And just a fun fact for
Okay.
you, Jared. Icelandic people read the most books in the world per capita. So reading is a giant part of their culture. So there you go.
Okay, my first one is Brazilian Portuguese. And it's
Português.
segurar a vela. And that means to hold the candlestick.
To hold the candles. I have an image in my head. I'm just trying to decipher what this actually means. To hold the candlestick. This isn't
Now
like
imagine...
this
Go
isn't
ahead.
like, this isn't like to pass on the torch. I'm assuming, right?
No.
Okay.
Imagine this, whoever's holding the candlestick is with two other people.
They're the center of
one person's-
attention.
Quite the opposite, actually.
They're not. Oh, really? You're not the center of attention to hold.
So there's three of you. One person's holding the candlestick. What would you? Who's
You're
that
the
person
third
that's
wheel.
holding? There you go.
Oh, okay,
Parada.
third wheel. Okay, nice. I like that. That's a good one,
Yes,
holding the
yeah.
candlestick. And for our listeners
Yeah.
out there who don't know what third wheel means, third wheel is when you are usually a friend of someone who has a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You're hanging out with a couple, and you're kind of that awkward third person. That would be the third wheel.
Yeah. So I do love the visual of like, oh no, we're all hanging out, but then you're like behind as
Holding
like,
the candlestick.
the couple's holding hands.
Right. That's funny. Give me another one, Jared, because I'd like to end with my last untranslatable.
My next one is Greek, and it goes Pias to avgokai korefto. Grab an egg and shave it. Grab an egg and shave it.
Oh, well, I don't even know where to begin with this one. Can you give me a clue?
Well, let me put it this way. How would you grab an egg and no. Oh yeah? Well, grab an egg and I'll shave it. Think about it like that.
Okay.
Or
Is that like
I'll shave that egg. Give me that egg. I'll shave it.
Is that just like I don't know, I'll do it? Like fine, I'll do it.
Think of Paul Walker in Too Fast, Too Furious saying, "How about them apples?" After first he says, "Give me that egg, I'll shave it," and then after he shaves the egg, he says, "How about them apples?"
So it means to do to do something difficult.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a retort when someone says like you can't do something that it's quote unquote impossible.
Oh yeah, because you can't really shave an egg because there's no hair on it. Okay.
All right, I'll give you one more. Also Greek. Tripa mautimiti. Pierce my nose.
Is that like how I'm trying to think of the English one that we Pierce. Is that just like I'm trying to I got
similar
like,
to just it's a I'll give you a hint in the sense that it's a declaration of some sort.
right. I kind of figured that. Is that like when you're is that like what you say when you're just like surprised when somebody says something like, "Oh, pierce my nose"?
No.
Pierce my nose.
So let's
I'll be a monkey's uncle.
There have been some rumors about a certain guy. So let's say his name is Epstein. People are like, "Oh no. The CIA, I swear to God, they worked with the Klans to shut down Epstein." Hey, listen, if I'm lying to you, you can pierce my nose. I got this from 16chan, and there's a CIA operative that hangs out there. I'll pull it up right now. Pierce my nose if I don't.
So it's just like I'm trying to think of how to actually say it. Just give it to me, Jared.
It's like a know-it-all that thinks they're never wrong.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, my last one for you, Jared, is Icelandic. And it is alveg ut að aka, which means totally out driving.
Totally out driving? Is it like you're not paying attention, or is it like
it's a bit more extreme than that.
Totally out driving.
For example,
does it mean to be unemployed? You said you wanted to.
That's a good guess. But no. So for example, Jared, you say, I tell you, yeah, so I lost my job. I'm unemployed. I think I'm just going to permanently move to Bali and live on the beach. And then you could say, are you totally out driving?
Oh, have you lost your mind?
Yeah, have you lost your mind? Are you crazy? Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that. That.
I figured you would like it because it has a car reference, and it's also kind of funny.
I like cars.
And I feel like that's a key with Funemployment is to make sure you don't go completely crazy. Because if you're unemployed, I think, one, not having a job can really cause you a lot of stress and make you go crazy. I think also not having a set schedule can sometimes make you crazy. There's a lot of factors in terms of being unemployed. But today we're going to talk about how to turn unemployed into funemployed. That's for sure.
So funemployment is in the dictionary.
Is it really?
And of course it is. I'm not lying to you here. It's in multiple dictionaries, first of all.
Yeah. Pierce your nose, Jared.
And we'll get to the real dictionary definition is I thought I had it, but I'll get it in a second. Anyway, the real dictionary definition: a happy time. Oh no. This is the dictionary.com definition. Excuse me. What am I talking about? Excuse me, not dictionary. This is the Urban Dictionary definition. I'm going crazy here. The Urban Dictionary definition. That's what first I'll say the actual dictionary. Fine. First I'll say the actual, and it is dictionary.com. Funemployed, without a paid job but enjoying the free time. Mm-hmm. It's an adjective or can also be used as a noun. Funemployed people collectively. So like, a group of funemployed people. We're fun employed. We are a group of fun employeds. The Urban Dictionary definition: a happy time in one's life when one is not employed and is not wanting to be employed. Now that's the top definition. I hate that definition.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one either.
Because that definition is privilege right there. That definition is like, oh, I don't need a job. That definition is for people that have money.
Right. No kidding.
It was like, I got laid off or I got fired, but who cares? It's great. I'll just enjoy this time of not working. That is privilege. Now, the second definition is the state of being corporately displaced or otherwise W-2 challenged while managing to maintain a positive attitude.
Challenge.
Also known as Jobbus Interruptus. I love that.
I
love
that. Jobbus Interruptus is a good one too.
Corporately displaced.
Yep. Oh man, that's
that's so
hilarious.
The way I would define it more simply is making the most of your terrible situation. A terrible unemployed situation.
Right.
Because no one that requires a paycheck looks forward to a time when they don't have to work. But you can also properly weather a fun employment and come out the other side with maybe a nice little vacation if you play it right. Who knows?
That's what I'm hoping to do.
By the way, though, what better place to start fun employment than Bali, Indonesia?
I know, right? We've
currently
been
on the
talking
beach in
that.
Kuta.
Right. We've been talking about that. Me and my coworkers that we were all English language fellows, and we, unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, have lost our contracts. So yeah, we were talking about that though too. That like of all the places to be, Bali is definitely not a bad one to start fun employment. I just hope Jared doesn't set the bar too high, starting off from a beach in Bali with, nice, tasty food and, cool, colorful tropical shirts, and then going back to icy cold Michigan. It's going to be definitely an adjustment.
It'll be a adjustment that way, but I think it'll be nice also to be around, like your old school friends, me, excuse me. I'm really just talking about me. I don't care about your other friends. They can all go somewhere. No, it'll be a different sort of enjoyment, because like now you're essentially on vacation right now.
Yes, sir.
Do you get anxious during these times of uncertainty, or do you in the back of your head know that it'll work out and you're not concerned about it, or do you worry?
I'd say I'm a weird mixture of both. So I think the way that I cope with that anxiety of not knowing what's going to happen is I kid you not, Jared, I've applied to over, I think, 3 or 4 different colleges and universities in Michigan just for like part-time teaching work. I've applied to 7 or 8 online teaching positions. I've applied for a couple study abroad positions. I've been applying to places like a madman. I've definitely gone out driving in that respect. But at the same time, I also feel like with my experience and with I think I'm a decent teacher. I think I definitely will be able to find something eventually. The tricky thing about teaching is it's kind of a seasonal gig. So I'm coming back, like a month and a half into the semester. So realistically speaking, there's not going to be any traditional teaching positions in Michigan at all. Now, one option I could have done, and I thought about, Jared, was South Korea and Japan actually start their semesters in February and March. But I also didn't like the idea of going from Bali with only half of my stuff.
That's a quick turnaround.
To South Korea or Japan. I would love to teach and work in South Korea or Japan. That would be super awesome. But yeah, it's just a quick turnaround.
And getting a visa that quick too. It's just a headache.
Exactly. So,
that is a good point, especially in the teaching gig. It's really the peak times to find a job or at the beginning, or excuse me, at the end of a semester and between semesters. At the beginning or end of a semester is probably when they start looking for the next semester or whatever. Do you and so it's going to be tough for you to get a job like that, like you're like in your career. So, we don't need to get into the details, but it seems like at least for a bit, you're not going to be struggling financially. But at least for your own sanity, do you think about like finding even just like a side gig kind of stuff?
So
like
I
even
wanna,
less for the money part, but more just to like so you're not sitting at home all day.
So yeah, I do want to find a side gig, and actually, well, the one that makes the most sense would be online teaching. The only negative thing about online teaching is that you're probably going to be teaching at 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. And you know me, Jared, I'm not a morning person. So that
10 a.m. is when you start considering to get up.
Exactly.
Your workday's already over at that point.
Right. But, I think in terms of skills, in terms of all that stuff, I think online teaching would be a good option. The only other difficulty, or not difficulty, but most of it is teaching children. And I would prefer to teach adults or teach high school students or even middle school students. Little kids, teaching little kids online is pretty difficult. I have a lot of friends who've done it, and it's pretty difficult. So yeah, and
you can't keep my attention, and I'm an adult. You can through the internet. I don't know how you can keep a child's attention.
Exactly. So, but I've also been thinking about too, like it might just be nice to do a part-time gig doing something kind of. I feel like online teaching, although a lot of the places give you the materials beforehand, there's still like prep work and stuff you have to do in between. Whereas I kind of want a part-time job where I can go do the work, and then when I'm done with the work, I don't got to think about it or worry about it. So, I don't know, like a pizza delivery driver or, Yeah. Do you got any potential tips of jobs I could do, Jared? Part-time side gigs?
I mean, delivering stuff is good. You could consider doing, your car's probably too old. Even though it's in great shape, it's probably too old to do like Uber or something.
Right.
Because that would be a good gig just to get you out of the house and get you doing stuff for a bit. And you like to talk to strangers for some reason.
Right.
So that might not be an option for you. I don't know. I've movie theater. Have you considered a movie theater?
No,
that might
I didn't.
Be fun.
Okay.
Even a grocery store might be kind of fun.
Right. I thought about that, like stocking shelves part time. I mean, yeah, it's pretty mindless. I've done retail stuff before and was stocking shelves at a pharmacy. A little different, but I think stocking shelves is stocking shelves.
Same concept, yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about too, though, once the weather gets nicer, maybe doing landscaping or something like that, because I think the money is actually okay as well for that kind of gig.
That's a good one. Yeah. Sorry, I just pulled up best part-time jobs, and
nice.
School bus driver came up, and I was like,
"Oh God, that'd be terrible." Oh God, no!
How is that a good part-time job?
Right, kids screaming at you while you're driving. Yeah, no, definitely no.
Cleaning houses, no, that you can't do that. Interpreter, translators, apparently.
I've
in the
applied
US,
for a couple online translation jobs.
This is a high-paying part-time job if you're fluent in more than English, paying an average of $24 an hour. Hospitals might be tough for German, but I assume there are situations where German is called for. But I'm sure most of what is the demand is for Spanish, probably.
I would assume so. Spanish or Arabic would be my guess.
Yeah, probably. Well, fitness instructor. Yes, yeah. I don't know if you can. That's a tough one to do part-time.
Right.
A server, but that's no joke. Like, that's a headache of a job, too.
Yeah.
Landscaper, we said that. Dog walker?
Ooh.
You could do that.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
And there are apps for that, too. You probably have to go to Ann Arbor, but you could easily
just go
to Ann Arbor
I'm writing that one down. That's a good one. Yeah, because you can make decent money.
Yeah, and you're close to Ann Arbor. Like, it's probably hard to do where you are, but you could easily just drive to Ann Arbor and be like, all right, I'll just be in Ann Arbor for 4 hours or 3 hours or whatever.
You know what's crazy is there's this guy that just Google this, Jared. Google this and humor me for a second. There's a Google man works as people walker. Just Google that. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. There's this guy, I forget, I think it's in California. I could be wrong. There's this guy who basically took the concept of dog walking and applied it to people. But, he basically says that, the reason why he gets clients is because, one, exercise is good for people, and a lot of times people won't go on a walk because they have no one to walk with. And a lot of people might be a little lonely and need someone to talk to. Did you find it, Jared?
I did. Do you want me to play some of it? Oh.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
Ready to walk?
Hold on. There's at the very beginning it says, instead of walking dogs, Chuck walks people.
Hey, how's it going?
Required. You got to
Money.
tax me for that.
Who wants to
Right.
do that? But I didn't want to pick up dog poop because
That's a good point.
He's wearing a T-shirt. It's a white Hanes T-shirt that you get in a pack of 6, and on it says "The People Walker." The "People" is written in bubble letters and colored in with red markers, and then the "Walker" is just written in Sharpie, WALKER, just normally.
Nice.
So he kind of gave up halfway through.
Meet Chuck McCarthy, better known as the People Walker.
So there we go, Jared. That'd be an interesting side hustle.
Chuck McCarthy, 6'2", 235 pounds. Weird job.
it's $7 a mile.
I can go for
$7
a
a
couple
mile?
miles, and I don't feel like I'm breaking the bank.
Well, a mile, a mile is about a
people and stuff.
15, 20-minute walk, depending on how fast you're going. So if it's a 20-minute walk, you get 3 miles in there. That's $21 an hour. That's not too bad.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah,
not too
All
bad.
right, if you don't like dogs, I mean, you like dogs, but if you
Right.
can't get a dog walking job, maybe consider starting your own business.
Exactly.
House sitting. But is there a place? There's probably some website. No, that sounds ridiculous. Why would there be a website where you could sign up to house at some stranger's house?
Right.
You can't do rideshare. Your old ass Vic.
Right. Not gonna work.
Have you considered like my free cams or whatever you call it, only cams or whatever
God,
it is?
becoming a cam guy. Oh, geez.
We're selling like used undies or something.
Let's be honest, Jared. If I was an attractive woman or a dude with a ripped 6-pack, I could probably get one of those things. But I highly doubt anybody's going to pay money.
Listen,
Plus,
there are a lot of fetishes out there. You're a
God.
bear. You're a solid bear.
First of all, Jared,
Online English tutoring. Have you
First of-
found that before? VIP Kid, for example.
Oh, God.
Have you heard of that?
don't. Yeah, I interviewed with them a couple of years
bad
ago,
stories.
and got denied. So no VIP Kid for me.
Oh, okay. VIP Kid or VIP Kid?
We say both. I don't know. But yeah,
cares?
online
F
English.
them.
Yeah, I've been thinking about online English teaching. I mean, yeah, that's the one big thing about Funemployment is definitely find a side hustle to help you out with your income. I'm very lucky that I won't have to worry about paying bills really. I'll be crashing at my parents probably until August.
Does that get old? Are you sick of living with them yet? I can't stay with my parents for longer than like 2 weeks. I'm gonna be honest with you. 2 weeks is honestly pushing
Yes,
it.
yes,
And I
and no.
love them. I have no problem with
Right.
them. Let me be clear.
Right. And I love my parents too. I would say yes and no. Well, really, mostly no.
I mean, it's the smartest option for you.
Mostly no, because the only thing that, and I totally understand where my parents are coming from. When you don't live with your parents anymore, you don't have to tell anybody where you're going all the time. And sometimes I'll forget.
Yeah,
like
that
I'll
gets
just
annoying.
hop in my car and go grab something real quick, and then my mom will be like, "Where did you go? Why didn't you know?"
I think you're stranded on the side of the freeway somewhere.
Right. Exactly. Or got abducted and in the back of a trunk or something.
And parents always jump to like the worst possible option.
Right. But I mean, the thing that I do really love about spending time at my parents' house is I mean, obviously chilling with my dad. He's retired, so we can watch like stuff on Netflix or Amazon or whatever. Hoping to play some serious table tennis with him when I get home. Since I didn't do that in China, I figure might as well do that back home. Hoping
I'm
to
going to
hit
ask him about that.
hit
I'm
the
going to ask
gym.
him how disappointed he is in
He's
his
probably
son.
he might disown me, so don't ask him that, Jared. He might disown me.
I'm definitely bringing that up when I come over.
Right. So, I mean, the other thing that I really love about my parents' house as well, other than my parents and their adorable basset hound, is all my music equipment is there. And that's another thing that I want to talk about in terms of fun employment is really pursue your hobbies. This might be one of, and this is what I keep thinking too, like while I've been applying to all these jobs, including temp jobs, there was one temp agency I applied at where they're like, most of these are full-time positions. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't want to, if I don't have to work full-time right now, I don't, and I know I'm coming from a privileged position right now, you know, because I don't have to worry about really rent and food and stuff. But it's like, if I'm working full-time, I can't really take the time to read a lot or, you know, play guitar for a few hours every day. So I think you need to find a balance if you can financially between working, if you can swing working part-time until you find a job that's really more oriented towards your career and you can afford it. I would say that's a better option just because you can, you can pursue your hobbies, learn some new skills, take a course, do something.
Now we here at the Untranslatable podcast all know that you love guitar. Your Instagram name is Chad Guitar, if I'm not mistaken. What are some other hobbies you'd like to pursue? You can't play guitar. I mean, you can, but you definitely can. Now that I think about it, but I assume you're not going to play guitar 12 hours a day every day.
No. For a few reasons. One, I don't think that's great for your hands. But so some other hobbies though, Jared. As I mentioned, table tennis. Gonna play some table tennis, and then once it gets nice out and warm out in Michigan, definitely gonna hit some tennis balls with some friends as well.
Let's play some soccer.
We should.
Play soccer
Yes.
again.
Yes.
I'm getting real doughy.
Yep. Let's do that. Yeah, soccer would be great.
Yeah, get kicked out of your high school again.
Right. Oh God, that guy. Oh man. For our listeners out there who want some context, we were playing at my high school soccer field, and the coach. This was like during the middle of the summer too. The coach literally pulls up and kicks us off the field because it was a field they used to play games on. But it's like it's just two guys kicking a ball around. It's not like we're gonna be slide tackling each other and destroying the field. But anyways, I digress.
At least not when he's around.
So yeah, definitely I think getting active though is a great thing to do when you're unemployed. There's a lot of studies that show that regular exercise helps with mood, helps with brain functionality, all sorts of stuff. So there's tons and tons of reasons why if you're unemployed and you, especially if you're feeling down, definitely even go for a walk. I mean, it's really amazing how little ways of, getting your body moving. Right now in Bali, I've been going swimming. That always makes me feel great.
Oh, in the ocean?
I was swimming in the ocean yesterday
pool?
and swimming in the pool a couple days ago.
How do you... Oh, wow. Yeah, that is great. I love that. Well, I don't like the ocean, but I do like the idea of... the ocean freaks me out. Do you find yourself getting bored easily?
Not really. Just because if I'm not playing guitar or watching something on Netflix or something like that, reading is a big one.
You go to your only cam site.
What?
Nothing. I said then you go to your only cam site.
Oh God,
my cams. I don't know what they call it.
But yeah, I think the thing with boredom is you just got to change things up. Because if you're doing the same thing every single day, you're going to get bored. I love guitar, but if I'm playing guitar, just like playing guitar by myself every single day, I'm going to get bored with it. So what would I do? Maybe go. Now this is difficult for me, but maybe go to a music store and like play some guitars there, just because you're playing different stuff. I gotta be careful though, because I have what the guitar community likes to call GAS, Jared, which is guitar acquisition syndrome, which is a medically diagnosed syndrome where you go to a guitar store and you end up buying a guitar. So yeah, but I will tell you this though, Jared, I am planning on selling a couple old guitars. And I've decided if I'm going to, even if it's only 6 months, if I'm going to be home for 6 months and have a decent amount of free time, I'm going to sell a few of my old guitars. And I've decided I'm finally going to pull the trigger and buy a super nice guitar with that money. So
nice. So consolidate down to fewer but better.
Yes.
Do you ever? I mean, so I assume teaching guitar is out of the question for 5-6 months. That's not really an option.
Maybe. I might see if I can. I might put a couple ads out and see. It doesn't hurt to try. That's the other thing is I think when you're unemployed, don't get down on if you get denied or rejected from places, because I've already gotten a couple rejections from a few different places. It's easy to see those and really start to feel doubtful and feel bad. But you got to just realize that when you apply for an opportunity and it doesn't pan out for you, that just means that you're open for other stuff. And I think it's important to try to stay positive, because it's very easy to get negative when you're unemployed. You don't know when, like, you know, you're going to have like a steady job, steady income. So it's important to just really try to stay positive throughout the whole process. I think some of the things we've mentioned also really help staying positive. You know, realizing, well, right now I have this time to exercise. I have this time to read. Jared knows I'm a terrible cook, so I wouldn't mind learning how to cook. I was talking to my parents a few days ago, and I even mentioned, you know, it'd be fun to maybe like show me how to cook some meals. My mom makes some really good food, lasagna, spaghetti, all sorts of stuff. So I'd love to learn how to cook
just
that
hide
stuff.
up in the bonus until she calls you down.
Exactly.
You just
Exactly.
see the final product on a plate in front of you. Mm-hmm. No idea how it got there. I hear you. Now, okay, I have two things. Now I'm going to start with this. I've heard you talk about updating your CV for your, which is a curriculum vitae for those of you that don't know, for your new job, and you know you got to make sure you have your latest achievements and job titles and blah 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 blah. What is the difference? Now, stop me if we should make this its own episode, because I've been considering that.
Okay.
But what is the difference between a resume that I might prepare for my job versus this CV that you're preparing? Because when I lived in Germany, we had to prepare a CV as like a project for my English class or whatever.
Okay.
And it was like a little booklet where that was like 5 or 6 pages, and it had your picture. You know, you wrote a little bio about yourself, like you're making a Tinder profile.
Now that's in Germany. In the States, a CV. Actually, Jared, that might be really interesting to talk about, like what different countries require for a job application process. Because that would be a really interesting episode. Because some countries require you to have a photo of yourself. I know Germany, I think also you have your birth date. In the United States, you're not allowed to have a photo of yourself or your birth date because...
No, you can.
I mean, you can, but it's not required.
Dude, I've seen resumes recently. Yeah, no, it's not required. Excuse me.
Right.
No one's requiring...
Right.
It will require your birthday, though. You do have to put in your birthday to... No, maybe you don't, actually.
Not on
To
your
apply,
resume
you
or
have
your
to put in a
CV.
birthday?
So here's how they get
But like
you,
when
Jared.
you're applying on those websites...
When you're filling out the application, you usually put in your birthday, but on an actual resume or CV, you don't. At least in the United States.
That's true.
But that's a great
No,
episode
that's true,
idea.
but I have seen a lot of resumes of people younger than me. Not to note any job particularly, but I've just seen resumes before of people younger than me, and a lot of them seem to be putting pictures of themselves on their resume.
Are they
I've never
selfies?
done that. I've never been advised. Yeah. There's a lot of them are
Beer in their hand with a selfie.
beer bong.
Yeah. Oh, man.
On the beach in Panama City during spring break.
On the beach in Bali?
No, but, like I have been seeing that too. I mean, that might not be bad if you're trying to look for a more international position. It's like, oh no, I
Right.
travel. I'm cultured.
Right.
But it has been surprising me to see pictures on people's resume, because I'm like, what does
Right.
this have to?
Right.
Like first of all, you're gonna see the people eventually if you actually like them. I just don't understand.
Right.
The thought process behind adding the picture to it.
True. Anyways, though, Jared, your initial question after we went off on this crazy tangent is, what's the difference between a resume and a CV? So a resume is usually used for like a non-academic position, at least is the way that I've been told how it works. So a resume, at least in the States, now we're talking about the job hunting in the United States right now. So a resume generally is 1 pages. I think occasionally you can go into 2. Is that right, Jared, or no?
Well, they say that's what they drill into your head in college, is that it shouldn't be more than 1 page, because you really there's no way you have that much to offer.
Right.
It can start going on to 2 pages once you get a little career behind you, you know?
Right.
But still, you know, succinctness is key.
Right.
And like, if it's going to be going on to 2 pages, like mine actually, no, maybe mine's still 1 page. I need to think about it. But like, everything you're listing better be useful and like don't like if you're 35, don't put on there like an internship you had in college.
Right.
If you had 3 real
Exactly.
jobs before that. Like,
Exactly.
Don't put
Right.
your put the most pertinent stuff there. And so what's most valued, I think, is obviously saying, you know, what's most important, but saying it succinctly
Right.
and getting to the point as quickly as possible.
Definitely.
And keeping it short.
Right. And I will tell you, Jared, that like a CV highlights, because it's usually used, at least in the US, it's usually used for academic positions. So a CV highlights obviously your education, your teaching experience, any work experience you have that's kind of loosely related to academia, also any
Publications, I guess.
volunteering, service and outreach. Yes, publications, workshops, conferences, presentations, any additional experience you have, like maybe you have experience using like certain data software like SPSS, different things like that. You know, if you speak any foreign languages, you usually put that on there. And I will tell you, Jared, not to flex. Well, it's really not a flex because I have colleagues of mine who have a way longer than CV than mine. But I think mine's about 6 or 7 pages right now. Just updated it.
Do people read this?
I think so. At least when I've had interviews with like different colleges and universities, they've asked me stuff that was further down on the page.
On page 4?
Right. But I will tell you, Jared, yesterday, because I've been applying for temp
No one
agencies.
would ever look at that in the kind of jobs that I've had.
Well,
like
so
in
that's-
corporate, no one would ever look at even if you're like I feel like even if you're like applying for like an exec, like no one's looking
Right.
at 4 pages of shit.
Right. Well, I will tell you, I whittled down my 6 or 7 page CV to a 1-page resume
Or 6,
yesterday.
I guess I should say.
And
jeez.
that was interesting.
Impressive.
I mean, I had to get rid of I got rid of most of the stuff from graduate school. Although it is, work experience, I got rid of a lot of that stuff. I had a few things written from when we were in Albion College because I was a teaching assistant at Albion College. I was also a study abroad peer advisor at Albion College. So I got rid of those as well, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, basically the big difference, Jared, between a resume and a CV is length and just the types of jobs you apply for. So in academia, usually it's a CV. Outside of academia, it's usually a resume. So there you go.
Yeah. So one last thing. I looked at, I was just, this is the Untranslatable podcast. I was thinking about where's the best place to be a citizen in fun and enjoy your fun employment. And I'm not going to read a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, the vast majority of them are European countries. Estonia, France, Germany, Italy, Ireland. These are all great places to be fun employed if you're a citizen there. The Nordic countries being Finland, Denmark probably, Sweden, and Norway. But one outlier that's not a European country, that's the only reason I bring it up, is Japan too. So...
Oh, nice.
Just some things to keep in mind. Good places to if you're going to be unemployed, hope that you got a citizenship in one of those countries because they'll treat you well. Have you considered applying for unemployment? There's no shame in applying for unemployment. Nope. You earn that unemployment.
Nope. Not yet.
Okay.
If we're on month 4 and I'm still unemployed and have no side gigs, Jared, then maybe. But here's the thing. Is that if I had an apartment, apartment rent to pay for, if I had bills to pay for, then yes, without a doubt. But
that's a fair point. It seems a little that's a little unethical.
Right.
Especially
because,
since it's not like you're broke, Like,
right. Right. I have some money saved up.
Yeah.
But because I think there are a lot of people out there that really need these benefits. And when people like me who can survive without them take them, that doesn't sit right with me. But who knows, Jared? Maybe if I get kicked out of my parents' house and I gotta pay rent somewhere and I don't have a job, that would be a different story.
I mean, I'll say this: when I got laid off from my last job, it did take multiple people asked me if I was getting unemployment. I was like, no. But it did take finally I did do it for like a month, I think. And it's like, it got to a certain point where it's like, yeah, people have said it to me enough that you earned it, blah, blah, blah. And also like I'm paying rent and shit, you know?
Right.
Where it's like, I also just had to be realistic about what's happening in my life.
Exactly.
And it's like what's this weird pride that you're pretending to have right now?
And see, and I'm the same way. If I had bills and things to pay for, you know, I don't have a car payment, I don't have rent,
right?
You know, so the only money that I really need to spend is like whatever stuff I want to do in my free time. And most of the things I like to do in my free time are free because I could read and play guitar at home as long as I want. I want to end the segment though, Jared. I have some tips from a few different sources. I think we've covered most of them, but I want to go over these. And actually, there are 12 tips from a woman named Miranda Benson. I found this on LinkedIn. She's an operations, communications, and training manager at Bali Incorporated. And she has 12 tips, and I think these tips are really great. We've covered some of these, but I think it's worth restating if we already said them, and some of these we haven't said. So here we go. Number 1, Jared, is first take a week off of life. Just take a week off, relax, do what you want to do. I think I've been doing that in Bali so far, and I think it does a lot of good for your mental health, for your overall perspective and mood. So I think that's a really good tip.
When I got laid off, at the recommendation of my parents, because I think it was hard for me to do this, but like they said, for the first week, just don't look for jobs. Don't like just or for the first couple days, maybe by the first week or like first 4 or 5 days or whatever. Just soak it in and don't do anything work related. So don't immediately start looking for new jobs. Don't stress out too hard as much as possible. Just enjoy they essentially said enjoy your funemployment.
I really wish
like
we
4
would
days.
have recorded this episode like a week and a half ago, because I've been looking for jobs like crazy. But now I've applied to so many of them where I'm not going to be actively looking now for a little while.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it's better to take a week or a few days to soak it in. I think that's better than my approach, which was just apply everywhere.
And I think what it helped me did more than anything. It didn't help me relax or anything, but I think it helped me step back and think about, at least for me, it's a little different for you because I don't know. I guess it probably can still be the same, but like it made me think about. You know, I liked my last job, but it made me think about what I did at my last job, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, what I'm looking to do. Like, it just gave me time to, even though I was still kind of obsessing on work, it gave me time to think about what I actually wanted from my career without just rushing to like whatever sounds like what I used to do or whatever sounds like the safe thing and just running to applying for it. Because like, oh, this is what I did before. I know I can do it. So let me just do it. It's like, stop. Think about like where you went and like how you ended up here before.
Right.
Think about where you want to be and how we can maybe do this a little different or something.
And I think it led you to a pretty good job after doing that.
I'm happy with where I'm at.
I will say this though, Jared, just a quick, at least for me, what you said, like from my previous job, the thing that I think I loved the most was all of the teacher training and workshops I did. They were so much fun, and I'd like to do that more in my career. But I think a lot of, like, if you become a full-time teacher trainer, I think most places you have to get a PhD. So we'll see.
I have another recommendation. Now, this might cost money. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Do you have the opportunity to get some sort of training or certification related to teaching or presenting or anything like that? Take some class at your local community college or something?
I'll have to see. That's a good idea. I'm not sure.
But that obviously costs money.
Right.
So
you'd
have to
depends on how
factor that in.
expensive
But,
it is. Right.
Maybe you could do something to add to your CV or something.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's something else.
Even though you have this period on your resume that may look like a blank period, and you maybe you get a little uncomfortable at that. Like, yeah, I had this happen for a legitimate reason, obviously. But look, when I took that time to further my career for these couple months and do something that would help me in the next job.
Right, and that's what leads me to number 4 and number 5 on this
I forgot
list
about
here.
that. Sorry.
Is number 1, brush up on a skill you haven't used in a while is one, but also learn a new skill. So
German?
take a course, something like that. Yeah, brush up on my German. I really want to brush up on my guitar playing. So that's, I mean, that's something that's going to be really great. Learn, kind of work on languages. Depending on where I end up going, and if I have an idea within the next few months of where I might be going, might be starting to learn a new language, maybe Korean or Japanese or Russian. We'll see. But number 2 on the list, though, Jared, that I think is important is taking care of your mental health, regardless of how you wound up unemployed. So if you were laid off because of, your company was just making cuts, if you were laid off because poor performance, whatever it could be.
Outbreaks.
Coronavirus outbreaks in China. I think it's important to take care of your mental health. Have someone that you can talk to, your friend, your partner, your parents, maybe you have a coworker of yours that's a really good friend, anybody. It's important to talk to people, and sometimes just talking things out really will help you feel better as well. Also, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, another thing you could do is write a journal, which I think is good. And then moving on, Jared, another thing that's really important for Funemployment, taking care of your mental health. Another big thing is taking care of your physical health as well. So, and if you don't enjoy sports or something, if you're unemployed and there's like ways you can do sports cheap or for free, try some new ones. Maybe you don't like basketball or hockey or whatever. Well, maybe you've never tried frisbee golf, or maybe you've never done bowling, or I'm just trying to think of any way to get up and move.
New sport in a long time.
It'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Have you ever played pickleball, Jared? Pickleball is a blast.
I feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah,
But,
pickleball's a good time.
You know what we should do?
What?
Now, this might be when you get back, because I'll need your help because you have friends. We should get a kickball game going.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
How much fun would that be?
Well, another thing too,
But
Jared.
we have to get like 20 people.
Right. Another thing too, though, is that join like a rec league. There's all sorts of different leagues, and they're not that expensive. They really aren't.
I have a friend that's on a soccer league.
Right.
And he plays
I've been thinking about doing that come spring, is join a soccer league in Ann Arbor or something. But yeah, we'll see. Another thing that they say you should do is, if possible, travel on a budget. When you're unemployed, this is the time when you could go see some cool places. You can also travel, depending on when you are unemployed, you can travel, during the low season, where it's not the peak season, might be cheaper, you have the time. You could also go when it's less busy. If you go somewhere on a Monday to a really popular tourist attraction, it's probably not going to be as busy as on the weekend. So take advantage of that as well. And a few other tips, Jared, right here. Schedule as many informational interviews as you can. So maybe if you can contact someone at a company that you might like to work for, contact them, send them an email and say, hey, I'd like to meet for coffee and learn more about your company. This is a way to kind of gauge your interest in potential future careers, and also maybe make some connections for someone that could help you find a job offer down, in the future. Also, lots of reading if you enjoy reading. If you don't enjoy reading, I would suggest listening to audiobooks or watching documentaries. Try to learn something new. And lastly, I would say is, not obviously it goes without saying, apply to lots of jobs and keep your options open, but also get some perspective. Kind of like you said earlier, Jared, what direction do you want to take your career now? How do you see your life in a few years down the road? Really try to get some perspective.
Have you been thinking about that? Have you been thinking about how you can evolve, take your career to the next level, not just do the same thing again? Even though you are looking to do the same thing again.
I have. Well, I'm looking to do the same thing, but it's going up. So I'd like to eventually become a teacher trainer, or like a director or a coordinator at like an English language program, where I would do a little bit of teaching, but also do teacher training, some administration stuff. So yeah, I've been thinking about it. So we'll see.
Okay.
But Jared, another important thing to make unemployment fun employment is listening to some good tunes. I think some good music is a great way to get a peace of mind. and really just be able to enjoy yourself. So our song is Stay True. What's the name of the artist again, Jared?
Mareba?
Thank you. And she's
Are you just doing that so I fuck it up and you don't? Excuse me.
No,
pardon my
I'm
language.
pretty sure you said it right. I would have said Mareba as well. And
Okay.
she's an Ethiopian American singer. And the song Stay True is quite a jam. What are your thoughts on it, Jared?
I like it. She's got that. She's very, very, kind of a classic R&B sound to it. Reminiscent of I'd say some classic R&B people. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I remember she slightly some Erykah Badu vibes.
Oh, for sure.
But not just her. She's just the only one that I can remember off the top of my head. But I definitely remember seeing, like, I could see. I'm not saying she sounds like her, but I'm saying I can see that influence kind of thing.
Right. Sure.
But I liked it. I thought it was great. I will probably recommend this to my girlfriend because it sounds right up her alley.
Oh, sweet.
Just
Cool.
be curious to know if she has heard of her.
Right. I really like just the whole vibe and atmosphere the song creates. The guitar part I think is pretty cool. And I just love the lyrics are great as well. I mean, I think obviously I'm not here to try to tell you listeners out there how to interpret the song, but at least what I got from it was like, don't settle for less, stay true to yourself, and do what you think is right, which I think is good, and especially good to keep in mind while you're doing Funemployment. Do what you think is right.
Yeah, and don't lose faith in yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, what I noticed a lot during my quote unquote Funemployment was that it was easy to kind of feel sorry for myself or kind of feel like pathetic a little bit.
Right.
And that I think was one of the biggest things for me to fight through.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's weird how much like sort of people identify with their job. You don't really
That's
think
true.
about that until
That's true.
you don't have it. It feels like sometimes.
Right.
I have a Spanish word of the pot. Sometimes I wonder why I'd still do this because it's not like I've made any effort to learn Spanish. But my Spanish word of the pot is empleo.
Which means employed?
Yeah, it means job.
Okay.
Employment.
Okay.
Or to like work or a piece of work. Do you know what that is? Trabajo.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah,
you have heard
yeah,
that before.
okay. I have
That's,
definitely heard
that's
that.
work,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's work. Yeah. Yep. Once
All right.
once I have an idea of where I'm going to be, I will start adding some more foreign language words to the pod. But right now,
Yeah. No.
Right now, I
yeah,
won't-
you're still in limbo.
right.
Hey,
but yeah,
Chad,
embrace
just
the limbo. though,
enjoy
Jared.
your. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm probably not going to lie. Probably going to have lunch after this and head to the pool, Jared. So life could be much worse.
Oh man,
That is for sure. But just to recap today's episode, I think there were a lot of good points that you made, Jared, especially about Funemployment. And I think one of them that you just said was don't be too attached to your identity as your job. I think a lot of people I love to say I'm a teacher. But just because you're unemployed doesn't mean that you're any less of a person, let alone any less of a good person or productive person or whatever. Take care of your physical health and your mental health. That's really important during Funemployment. Take the time, because you have the time, to really do what you want. Obviously, you should, be trying to think of how to further your career and apply to jobs and stuff like this. It's very important. But don't become so consumed by that you can't enjoy yourself. I have to say... Go ahead.
And applying for jobs only takes up so much time. That's something I also learned, where it's like you feel this constant need to feel like something I learned was like, okay, now being unemployed and finding a new job is my job.
Correct.
But I mean, you can apply to a lot of jobs, and it's still not take up like your entire day. Like you could apply to many, many jobs over the course of a week, and that would take up, say, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours a day.
Right. There's no
And
need
then
to
it's like, all
obsess
right,
about it.
Right, you can only apply to so many jobs, and then
Right.
and even if you are being diligent and making sure you're constantly trying to find another job, it's like, yeah, but you're still gonna have more free time than if you were to just have a job.
Correct. Absolutely. And I would say that another thing too is that I've noticed myself after I've applied to these jobs, like constantly checking my email. It's not healthy. Don't do
that's
that.
the worst.
Yeah,
I did that too.
The waiting game sucks, but really try to. What I've been doing is delegating like a set time when I check emails. Like I check them in the morning and I check them at night, and I don't really check them during the day now, which has helped me a lot.
I would get nervous. That I'd be like, oh God, did I put my name in wrong? Did I
Right.
put my email in the wrong
Right.
email in, or did I write my phone number out wrong?
Exactly.
All of a sudden I forget my phone number.
Right. But yeah, I think it's important to embrace and accept the uncertainty at the moment, but really enjoy the fact that you have a lot of time to do what you want. Obviously, this is very dependent on your finances. So if you're struggling financially, obviously, I'm sure it will be a much more stressful time to be unemployed. But try to find the silver lining. For a lot of people, when they're unemployed, their next job, depending on their experience, tends to be a step up. So keep that in mind as well. I'm hoping that's where it will be for me as well. So yeah.
Also, ideally focused at people without kids. Let's be honest.
True. Very true. Yeah, that's
Because if
true.
you have kids, all of this goes out the window.
Very true. That's a good point, Jared. That is a good point. So anyways, take care of your physical health, your mental health. Enjoy spending time doing what you love to do. If you don't know what you love to do, try out some new hobbies and maybe you'll find one. And let us know how you make unemployment into fun employment at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Check out our Instagram to see how I've been trying to live my best fun employment life in Bali, Untranslatable Podcast as well. And if you want to hear some good tunes, check out our Song of the Pod playlist on YouTube, also Untranslatable Podcast. And lastly, slide into Jared's DMs on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1.
You betcha.
And if you have any tips or advice, or you want to let us know how to make this podcast better for you, please do so on iTunes and Stitcher. 5-star reviews. So, we thank you, and as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Yakuyame, muchas gracias, and shasha.